Hello, Capricorn. Thank you very much for tuning into this week's read. For the main part of the read, I'm using Tarot Illuminati by Eric C. Dunn. Supportive Oracle cards, the Akashic Tarot by Sharon Ann Klingler and Sandra Ann Taylor. I know it says it's a tarot deck, but I see it more as a tarot-inspired oracle deck. It has some noticeable differences. I very much love this deck, that's why I'm using it. I just feel like it's more of an oracle deck than a tarot deck. It's more like tarot inspired. Very good though. I like it. It's just I feel like I need to be fair about why I'm using it as an oracle deck, just in case you're like, hey, you're kind of using two tarot decks. It's just the way because there's like the minor arcana has like doesn't have pages or knights, and there's a couple other differences. And the minor or the major arcana that I just feel like it's just not really like if you're into a traditional tarot deck, it's just gonna look a little weird. That's all I'm saying. But I like it. This is Capricorn. Okay, Capricorn. Okay, so the first thing I'm getting from this situation is this is all about somebody that you do care about that you have a hard time getting along with. This is somebody who disappoints you and you try to make things work with. They disappoint you, it just seems like more than not, they just don't go the direction you feel they should go. They don't really have the stability you think they should. Either that or it doesn't have to be financial, by the way. It could be like when they deal with other people, like the way they handle situations and the way they talk to people or what they get involved in. Maybe they get involved in situations and you're like, those are rickety situations. You shouldn't even be involved with that. You should just let people do what they need to do. And they keep getting involved in these things. Something like that where you're just like, and it could be finances, but I feel like for a lot of you, it's kind of like a social interaction thing where you're just kind of like, that's not the best way to handle that. You're constantly finding either they're a part of arguments or you're arguing with them to like do things differently because you're like, that's not serving you. And then you get upset and I try to tell you not to do that, yet you do it over and over and over and over again. You're trying to help somebody. You got the balance card here on your side. You're trying to help them. There might be actually a big argument here, but it starts off where you're trying to help. And then it keeps going because you're like, if I can just say the right thing where they understand what I'm telling them. But it's not that they don't understand what they're telling you, they just don't agree. That's the problem. It's like they understand that you see it that way and that's what works for you, but they're looking at it like that doesn't work for me. I don't think that's the way to do things. I think I need to do things a little differently, but not the way you're telling me. Ooh, that's kind of how it is. Okay, hold on. They do agree that there's some things they're doing wrong, but they don't believe the way you handle it is the way they should handle it. They're kind of like, okay, I did this wrong, and you have a way to do it yourself that works for you, but I'm not going to be able to do it that way. That's not for me. That's not how I live life. I do have to change how I do it, but the way you're doing it's not going to work for me. And I feel like you're trying to explain to them, if you just try it, if they just give it a fair chance, they may find it's better than they think. So you're getting very frustrated, like, just try. Just give it a shot. You don't even have to go full board on what I'm telling you. Just try a little bit of it. Try some of it. Nope, they won't do it. And that's, I feel like, where the real frustration comes in. They are admitting that things are wrong. They just don't want to try your solution. And you're just like, just try it. If you don't like it, all right, I get it. I don't like that you don't get it, but I understand maybe you don't get it. It's not happening. It's just not happening. So then they go elsewhere. They get information elsewhere. They try something else. Is this going to be good or bad? I don't know. Let's keep going. When I get this card, the Angel Gabriel, it's very much about communication. It's almost like they're getting information elsewhere, but it does feel a little bit like... It feels male or underdeveloped to me for some reason. It just feels like it's not really... Like, there's almost like caveats behind it. Like other people are saying this is how they handle it. And I feel like you're watching this person you're trying to help. The person you're trying to help is getting help from somebody else who doesn't really do things that well all the time either. They have their own shortcomings. And you're kind of like, all right, that person's not as bad as you are at this, but they're not really that great at it either. So you're kind of like you're going to that person. I mean, I understand they do it better than you do, but they don't do it a lot better than you do. You're kind of like, it's kind of like looking at somebody like, this is somebody who's failing in a course and they're getting 50 and 40s and 50s and 40s, and you're getting like 90s and 100, and they're like, no, you're too strict, I can't do it your way. But that person over there getting 65s and 70s, I'm going to go to them. I'm going to see how they do it. I want to do it like they do it. And you're just kind of like, that's scraping by. You're like, they're scraping by, and you want them? You want their help? And they're scraping by? Meanwhile, I'm almost acing it. You got enough humility to say, I don't do it all perfectly, but I'm doing a lot better than expected here, a lot better than you are, but you're going to that person who's scraping by? Are you kidding me? Like, what's up with that? I'm getting a lot of frustration because I feel like you're seeing that. Like, why are you going to that person? Like, what's the deal? Like, that's not smart. They're just scraping by. Like, okay. The High Priestess pulls in. This person isn't listening to you. They're just not working with you. So I feel like you're looking at it like, well, what am I going to do at this point? I get out. You're kind of like, I'm just going to sit back and wait. You care about this person. That's the hardest part. You're like, I want them to do better. I care if they do. I really wish they'd listen to me. I really wish they'd hear me, but they just don't want to. So you're just watching it. You're watching this play out. And you're like, all right, I mean, maybe luck will be on your side and you'll beat the odds because it doesn't look good to me. Whatever it is they're learning from this other person, they're really thinking it over. They're melding what that person knows with what they know. So it's almost like they're looking at it like there's like 5 subjects, and they do okay at these 2, and this other person does good at like these 3 up here. So it's kind of like, well, there's this one subject we both do bad in, but they do better in these 2 subjects. They have a way of looking at it that makes sense to them. Let's just leave it at that. I think it gets real complicated because it's almost like it's math, English, and social studies, and you do good at all 3. They do good at math. This other person does good at social studies and fairly okay at English, and you're like, that's okay. They can help me with social studies, and we can work together in English and try to make that better for each other. It's just, I feel like they have a thought process behind it. You agree with that thought process, I don't know about that, but just there is a thought behind it in case that matters. Because they're coming forward with the light of the world, the Queen of Wands, which don't get caught up in the gender, but like they're really actively trying to make this work. They may even be coming at this like, well, I do it 40s and 50s. That's how well I'm doing at these tests. This person does 65, 70, but if we pool our energy and we go out there and try to make this better, maybe we can both pull ourselves up better. Maybe I can improve, but so can't this other person at the same time. Maybe we can help each other. I don't know. I'm not saying it's the best plan, but there's a thought behind it. I'm just saying that. That fails. Okay. Wasn't that great? Woo. That fails. Okay. I can't. That was rude. Sorry. Whoever this person is ditches out on them. Bye. They're gone. They just leave. I'm frustrated with it. I'm just kind of like, it's not funny, but it's kind of funny. I know for some people this is gonna hit because they usually do. It's killing me. Like they're just kind of like they're choosing somebody else, scraping by, convinced that they can help each other. I can help them. They can help me. It'll work out. It'll be fine. It'll be great. They're putting in all the effort. The other person says, I can't do this. Gotta go. 6 of Swords. I'm out. That's the I'm out card. Like I'm out. They're gone. This really upsets the person you're trying to help because they're like, oh boy. Because what do they know? They know you're willing to help. What do they not want to do? Ask for your help. What do they need to do? Ask for your help. What's going to happen? They're going to ask for your help. I wasn't sure. I had to flip the card because I'm like, are they? The Fool card comes in. They know you have the information. The Akashic Library is what your card is. Like, you have the information. But if we're going to use the analogy of a library and you're the library, I don't know if it. All right, I'm just going to say traditionally libraries don't go to people. I know that there's certain things. I get it. Like there's certain. I'm thinking of a library building. You have to go to it. You have to walk into it. You have to pick the book. You have to choose the book. You have to read the book. That's all I'm saying. You have to go to the library. I know there's different things nowadays. I get that. But the traditional old-fashioned when I was a kid library, how's that? So they have to come to you. They need your help now. It's not funny, but it's kind of funny. I'm sorry. It's a little funny. I don't think you're going to be impressed with that. It's just kind of like all this rigmarole, all this hubbub, just to go around the block. Like, just to end up going around the block. Like for what? Like, I don't know. I don't know. It's a little frustrating. If this reading hits with you, I feel like you're going to be there going, yeah, it is. It's a lot frustrating. You care, though. That's the clincher here. You care. You literally care about this person. If this was just some schmuck, you'd be like, listen, get lost. I'm done. Bye. You and your ridiculousness. Keep walking around the block. Get dizzy. Get seasick for all I care. Just get away from me. But the thing is, it's not a schmuck. It's somebody you actually care about. Somebody that means something to you. You got the Queen of Cups here. Don't get caught up in the gender, but that means you hold a lot of feelings and you really do care what happens to this person. So when they finally do ask, you're ready to help. You are ready to help. You got the World card in there too. Kind of like, you see that they need you. And it's almost like it's annoying, but at the same time, even though it's annoying, you're kind of like, yeah, but now they're asking me. This kind of changes the power dynamic. They need me now. They want me now. They need help now. So I think they're more apt to actually pay attention a little closer. They're going to absorb it a little better because they really need your help. This is also making me feel like if we're going to use an analogy with the 3 subjects, it's like they have a test coming up on all 3 subjects. When you first tried to help them, they had a month to learn all this stuff. When they come to you for help, because everything else fell through, they got like a week left. So they have to do it your way if they expect this to work out. And I feel like you're kind of like, well, I don't like that you've cut the time down to a fourth of what it should have been, but I'll do it. I'll do it, and I can make it work, and it's not going to be fun, and you're going to have to do what I tell you. You can't really push back. We don't have the luxury of time for you to push back. Just do what I tell you. Learn it the way I tell you. We'll go through it, and we'll make it work. They do it. They have to. I feel like they have to. They got the Fool card here is where they're thinking things can still be saved. They just got to go along with what you want, and things will be fine. Is that really going to help? The Moon card pops in. Doing it your way is hard for them. To be fair, though, if they had just went with you and worked with you when you first came towards them, it wouldn't have been that hard. Like going from a month time frame to learn 3 subjects to 1 week, that's significantly different. Like even if it's just a chapter, I'm telling you, that's the difference I'm seeing. You get it. I'm not going to beat it to death. I'll find something else to beat to death. Don't worry. They're nervous. They don't know if this is gonna work. It's their own fault. So this is not your fault, and you know that. I don't feel like you're having a hard time with that because you know it's not your fault. But again, you care about this person, so it does weigh on your heart that like this person's under a lot of pressure, and this person's very nervous, and this person may not do well. They may not do well this time around. That is totally not your fault, and you know that. But you still care, and you're still nervous for them. You're still hoping they can pull it together. There's only so much you can do. You know what I mean? They do everything they can. They got the Hermit on its side and the 2 of Swords on its side. And these are both overshadowing the Star card, which is hope. They have 2 ways to handle this. They can either shut down and just block it all and screw the whole thing up, or they can work overtime and really think about what you're doing. I'm getting for the people I'm getting it's a mixture of both. They're going to have a hard time, but they're going to try to do it. It's going to be a lot of stress. I feel like if this is literally if it was really literally the 3 subjects, for example, and it was like down to 1 week's time, I feel like it's so intense that like morning, noon, and night. Like for example, if they have something going on that day, when they first get up, they got to try to get things down and try to learn something and do some of it. They go do what they were gonna do anyway. When they have a break, they have to do a little bit more work on it. Then when they have to go back, they go back to do what they have to do. After they're done with that, they have to do a little more. It's like throughout the day, constantly when they have some free time, they have to work on this. They have to do a little more. They have to do studying or writing things up or whatever they got to do. It's like morning, noon, and night, but it's like in between other things. Like they literally have to like fold it in between everything. It's like this is like boot camp feel to me. It's really intense and it's hard. It is hard. It's not your fault that it's that hard, though. I'm just saying. You've got the Queen of Keys and the Akashic Records. Nope, the Akashic Field. The Akashic Field. That's fun. There's a lot of reward here that's possible, but they got to get through it. They got to do the work. They got to do the work. And you have the knowledge to help them. You can present the knowledge. You can show them what they need to do, but you can't learn it for them. If we're going to use the 3 subject thing, you're not going to be the one taking the test for them. They're not allowed to cheat, and you wouldn't promote that anyway. So you can do what you can. You can lead them to the water. You can tell them which one to drink and how much to drink. But they got to do it. You got the keys. You'll tell them, hey, you got to do the work. If you put in the work, I still think you can do this, but you're going to have to do morning, noon, and night. Anytime you have a free moment for this whole week, you're going to have to do it. I know it sounds ridiculous, but it's for 1 week. You're the one who crammed it all into 1 week instead of working with me for the whole month. This didn't have to be this way. But now it's going to have to be this way. So you got to cram it in if you're going to make it work. You tell them, you show them, you do what you can. But you have the 8 of Swords kind of like there's, again, I've said this, I know. There's only so much you can do. That's all you can do. And I feel like that's what this says. At the end of this, that's what it's all about. When all is said and done, it's going to be up to them and what they put into it. You can only do so much. I don't know what to say about that. I feel like what they're saying is like the outcome is not your fault. Whether it's good or bad, you did everything you could, but the outcome, this person truly does own the outcome. Because if they pass, and they get through this situation, it was very stressful. They made it that stressful on themselves, but they earned it because they had to really kick it into gear. Without putting in the extra effort, it's not going to work. If they fail, it's the way they handled the situation. Maybe that's the lesson they need to learn. That might be the lesson they need to learn from this. It may be hard for you to watch that happen, but maybe that's literally the lesson this person needs. All right. I think we're all set. I hope that helps. Thank you for watching. If you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James, the number 4, astral@gmail.com. Thank you.